All right, so we're gonna do questions from Kim first, and then we're gonna go to Chase. Corey, can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah, we're good.
Okay, I'm gonna let you go ahead and moderate this. We'll start with questions from Kent, and then we'll move to questions to Chase.
It's nice to be here in person.
Hi.
So Coach was saying that, they spent so much time trying to get kind of a identity with the starters. This week has been about getting the second unit an identity of who's shooting, where they're shooting from. She said that you might be the biggest beneficiary of that because you kind of jumped in mid-stride, and now you've had a week to kind of enmesh yourself back in the team. Can you talk about how important this week is to you?
It's extremely important to me. I think my first game back was Chicago, right? Sorry, my voice is going on from screaming. My first game was Chicago, and if you remember, we had that stretch before with Connecticut. Mind you, we were on the road, so it's really hard for me to jump in to a lot of practices. So they let me jump in for shoot around a little bit, and then we had one day to kind of just shoot ourselves. But I had no practice with the girls before that game. So a little bit before the last game I did. So this week for me is extremely important because I'm trying to remember all the plays. I'm trying to remember my teammates, how they play, how they like to play. And then when it comes to the second bench, like she said, we have to come in and be ready to give our starters a break. And how do we do that? We play defense effectively. We play offense effectively, where coach is so sure and so confident in us that we can play when we're out there. You know what I mean? So it's huge. I remember today, I'm like looking at the girls like, what play? Where am I supposed to be in this play? So this is huge for me this week.
You had a pretty tough year. I mean, you came in, it was a tough camp, and then you got the hamstring right away, and then you came back and played a little bit, and then got the thumb.
Yep.
I mean, I think fans are so excited when you signed here, and you were excited to be here.
Yes.
But do you feel like you've shown them what Aerial Powers is at any point yet?
No, I don't think so. I think I haven't had the ability to because, like you said, I had the hamstring. Come back from that, the first game I hurt my thumb. So I'm appreciative that they've been so supportive. But I don't think I've been able to show who I think I am yet.
How good? I mean, she talks about layers of doing things, working and building. If this second unit can become more effective, how good can this team be?
The second unit will become more effective. And I think when we do, and we all start learning each other, playing together well, we're a championship team easily. I know a lot of people haven't been talking like we are, but I think we are. We have all the pieces, and it's a work in progress, man. It's a work in progress. Just continue to stay healthy from everybody. Continue to have that hunger to get better every day,
And you've obviously, you've been a champion. You know what it takes to succeed in the playoffs. Just from being around the team in a practice setting this week, what do you think you guys still have to work on in order to get to be at that level once you guys go into the playoffs?
I think our transition defense has progressed. We have to continue to thanks. We have to continue to keep that up. And also offensively, getting some easy buckets in transition and kind of running some teams that way. We worked on that today, and I think that's a big key factor because we're doing all the other things pretty good. Just continue to progress in those areas.
And then in your first few games back, it looks like you have zero hesitation to size defenders up and take them off the dribble. Just what is your confidence level in your hand, when you're doing that, and how has that been so far?
Right now, to be honest, completely honest with you, I'm working every day for it, but it's not 100% yet. I mean, last game was my second game back, and like I mentioned, I hadn't had any practices. Right. So this practice, for real, was like really big for me because we worked on a lot of things where I'm going full go with that right hand and being able to shift sides with that right hand. So I'm not 100% yet, but I mean, I'm gonna play like I am.
Right. And then, every person that we've spoken with, since really the break, they've always mentioned, your energy, your enthusiasm, and just the leadership that you bring. But outside of that, what are you most confident in your ability to bring to this team off the bench?
Off the bench, really kind of what you said. My teammates expect that of me, and I expect that of myself to bring that energy, whether it's offense, defense, whether it's that loose ball, just bringing that. And of course, all the other things I do, defensively being there, offensively being there, just being a good teammate all around. But the energy piece is what I think everybody expects from a player coming off the bench. They need that. The reason why we come in is to give somebody a rest. and to give somebody a rest, you have to come in with that energy and be really effective that way.
How do you feel? Do you feel you have a really good feel for the people you're playing with now, with Crystal, with Natalie, in terms of where they like it and where, and they'll know where you like
that
it?
second group?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm getting the feel of it. I know when I was sitting out, I was really watching and trying to figure out what Fee likes to do, what Sil likes to do, what Nat, what Chris. I was trying to figure out what my teammates like to do by watching. But when you get in, it's still a little different. You still have to adjust. So I'm not saying I'm 100% yet with like right here with my teammates, but I am getting better with them for sure.
Jace, do you have any questions for AP?
AP, I'm sure, like, with the injuries, the start of the season's been, frustrating, long. But have you kept reminding yourself, like, hey, there's still plenty of runway here, and like when you getting back now, like there's still a quarter of the season left in the regular season, and then you could be a huge part of this playoff run. Like, do you feel like you can turn really your entire season and how you view this year around?
Yeah, I can share that with you. I just this season for me is like about weathering the storm for me mentally, because I had my hamstring injury. I mean, I'm rehabbing with Chuck all the time. And then I come back so excited, and then I tear my ligament in my thumb. And the first thing I thought was, don't get down on yourself. It's a reason. God has a plan for you. Just keep weathering the storm and battling back. That was my big mental piece. Like, God has a plan. I don't know what it is, but I'm gonna still keep going. And then now I'm here with the girls. And I'm not gonna lie, Jace. The other day was like my first mental kind of breakdown since I been back. I was just a little frustrated with my thumb. Felt like I was losing the ball. I couldn't move the ball like I wanted to with my hand. I talked to Chuck, our trainer. He's amazing, and he wrapped my hand up a different way today. And it's a trial and error, just trying to figure out what feels good. And those last two games, I felt like I couldn't feel the ball like I wanted to, because this part of my hand was wrapped up. And today he wrapped it differently, and I felt way better out there every time I caught the ball, every time I dribbled the ball, shot the ball. And I talked to him today, like, okay, I kind of feel better. Like, mentally, I feel better and I play better. But I'm not gonna lie, as a person coming back from injuries, sometimes you do have those doubts. For me, it came a long ways. It was after the Hemi and after the UCL. It was about literally like 2 days ago, and I had a little downer, but I'm back up in my spirits, and I mean, I'm ready to go. I'm ready for this stretch. The stretch is big for me because we have like a week before New York compared to the last game, so these practices are big. Sorry for the long-winded answer.
That's good.
Yeah, they're big. They're big for me, and I never stop. I talked to Coach about this today, or the other day when we were 0-4. I never once broke and thought we weren't a championship team. I just figured we had a lot of new girls and we need to figure it out, and they have. And I'm ready to jump in there and help when I can. And like I said, weathering through the storm. So when the playoffs comes, hopefully I'm ready. I'm ready for action. Not hopefully, I'm gonna be ready for the action. So get this championship.
Yeah, it's be comforting that you've come back with still a pretty good chunk of the season left.
Yeah.
Like, it's not a big rush for you to get to 100% here.
Yeah, I told the girls thank you for winning the goal. That helped me too. Those weeks we had really helped me. It gave me some extra time that in a normal season a player would never have.
Thanks, Sarah.
Gracie. All right, thank you.
Thanks,
All right, see y'all.
Thank you.
We got Bridget coming up, Jace.
How's it going?
It's good to see you guys in person.
Yeah, you too.
Been a while, huh?
Yeah.
I've looked at Kent during games, and it feels like the last 5 or 6 games, every single time you've come in the game, on the first possession, you either hit a three, taken a charge, or gotten a steal, or made a big defensive play. Just what do you think has enabled that confidence that you're playing with from the jump right when you get in the game?
My coaches, teammates. I know when I come in, that's my role in the team, to play great defense and to shoot shots when I'm open. And have been able to knock them down on the last couple of games, which I'm happy about. But yeah, I think, I have confidence coming off the bench no matter what time of the game it is. I'm ready to go.
And then just now that we've had a few games just across the entire league since the Olympic break, we've seen players kind of come out of that in very different ways. Just how do you think your Olympic experience playing has impacted you so far the second half of the season?
Yeah, I think I matured a lot over the Olympic Games and that break. Playing, I had a lot on my shoulders at the Olympics, and it was my first Olympics, so there was a lot going on, and I felt a lot of pressure, but it was excitement and achieving my dream. But I feel like I learned a lot as a player and grew a lot, and just the confidence I have now going into the rest of the season, I think that stems a lot from my Olympic experience.
And then just with so many new players kind of coming into the fold and kind of a little bit of a different rotation, at least with the second unit, just how does that impact your mindset when you go onto the floor, the way that you communicate when you're on the floor?
Yeah, it's good to have obviously AP back. Everyone's healthy, knock on wood, it stays that way. But I mean, the second group, we talked about this today in practice, plays a lot different than the first group does when all 5 of us are in and compared to the starters. So it's just a matter of figuring that out, what our strengths are, what our weaknesses are, and what we can, how we can attack on the offensive end. And obviously our defense is super solid. Obviously when Still's out of the game, it's a little bit different, but we're still can be solid defensively. And I mean, we have great players, leaders coming off the bench too that help us with communication.
Coach was saying that so much time was spent after the slow start finding an identity for the starters, like who was going to shoot and where everybody needed it. Now they're kind of going to you guys now and trying to kind of not going to be the same, but just kind of identifying what they want and what they want people to do. Do you feel like this week is big for that?
Yeah, too. Just like the one time, I think for the rest of the season, we have a few days of just practice where we can focus on us and not necessarily, in the middle of the season, it's just next game, next scout. What are we doing? How are we adjusting our game plan? But now we can just focus on us for a couple days, which is nice and needed, and some time for the bench players to kind of figure out our roles when we do come on the court, and what we can, emphasize on the offensive end, like I mentioned before.
It seems like every single time the offense gets bogged down, whether it's starters or the bench out there, it's just from a lack of ball and player movement. What is it like when that happens? Kind of what are the conversations like, and why is it always somebody like you or Dee or a role player that seems to get you guys out of that funk?
Yeah, I think it's just, a lack of certainty of what we're in, what kind of offense, are we in transition? Do we need to set a play? What play are we running? Kind of that in between phase where we don't really know, what's going on essentially. But I think everyone just has to stay, shot ready. We can still move the ball even if we're not in a specific offense or a flow. Someone can attack, someone can pass. We can get into our combos, and that's just playing basketball. And we have a lot of great players that are able to just play. So when we do have those moments where we're stagnant and ball's not moving, we need to get into that more and just kind of play and be free, and we can build off that.
Awesome. Jace, go ahead.
Bridget, talking about like the bench building an identity with the second unit, how much does just having everybody available now help with that? Now you have Natalie, now you have Ariel, you can kind of get some continuity with, the players who are going to be out there, like, okay, I'm going to be playing with these players for these minutes.
Right. I think that's just it. Now that everyone is back, we can actually play as a whole bench unit and give our starters a little bit of a break when normally like 2 or 3 of us would be in with the rest of the starters. But now that we have our full roster, minus Renaya, obviously, we're able to, play 5 of us that come off the bench, and it just looks different, which is fine. But we're again just figuring out kind of what our strengths are, and we know what they are. It's just a matter of flowing into it at the right times.
Is that especially noticeable even in practice, like when you can have that second unit practicing all together, maybe against the starters or whatever it might be?
Yeah, we have scout team guys now, which is nice, so we don't have to go against each other as much. But we do go, when the bench is able to play together a lot against the guys who are super athletic, super energetic, and in passing lanes and hard to score against. But it just makes us better that we're able to, all 5 of us are able to play together. And then we throw in, obviously, we do play with the starters every once in a while too, and it's not just 5 on 5 off. That's not how it goes. But it's just a matter of putting it all together.
Any last questions for DC?
Yeah, I'll go with one. So Cheryl said that, the first thing she noticed when she came back was that everybody just was having so much fun together. And just how much you guys enjoyed being around one another. Like, obviously, being someone who's played the entire season, just how have you noticed that change firsthand, and how do you think it's impacted you guys playing in games and then here in practice?
Yeah, I mean, I think, Cheryl mentioned it in one of our first practices back that we're all just, you can tell, like, we're all just excited to go to work together, even though, practice isn't super fun all the time, or having multiple practices in a row and not having a game isn't super fun all the time, but we actually, like, enjoy being here and being together. Even the girls that were here over the break, they didn't have a game to look forward to, but they enjoyed being in the gym together and working hard and getting better, and that's just a fun environment to be in. The coaches, I think, lead the way in that. They're such a fun group. When we're warming up on the sidelines, they're dancing, having a great time, and just bringing great energy. And us as players feed off of that.
Thank you.
Thank you,
You
Bridget.
missed the trip to the cabin though.
I did. I know. That's the first thing I said to Chuck. when I
Everybody
got
says they had a
back.
great time.
I know. I'm sad.
How good are the Cyclones going to be this year?
They should be good, I think. Ashley's still there. Obviously, she'll be good. Ashley Jones. Matter of them putting it all together. We don't really have.
So that steal you had the other day, you know, you kind of came from the end zone, from where we're just chatting.
Okay.
From the end, it kind of almost looked like an interception in football. You know what I mean? Did you identify the play in that, or how did you get that?
Yeah, I saw it coming. I was the low eye, and I just saw the pick and roll, and I knew they weren't going to be able to skip it to my player, so I was just heavy in help. That's our defensive principles. Clogged paint, no easy paint points, and I read the pass. Was able to get my hand on it.
Very good. Thank you, B.
Cool. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.